Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are watching from. This is the West Ham Network. This is what we call your opposition preview, and we will be bringing on a familiar face all the way from Manchester in a second. But West Ham make the familiar, yes, you have heard me correct, the familiar trip to Old Trafford to take on Manchester United in the Emirates FA Cup fifth round. West Ham have drawn Manchester United for the 11th time in the club's history after overcoming Brentford 1-0 and Derby County 2-0 to reach the round of 16. Yes, we are still in for the treble, although we are not going to win the Premier League. There will Ten Hag is newly crowned League Cup winners and holders who defeated Newcastle at Wembley Stadium on Sunday to win their first trophy since the Europa League in 2017, and West Ham have to wait a little bit longer for some silverware. Now, if you don't know, if it depends on if you class the Intertoto Cup in 1999 as a competition that we won, you have to go all the way back to 1980. But we have had some success in the FA Cup, and particular against Manchester United. But we will have to wait and see. So, without further ado, I am going to bring on our good friend of the channel. I'm not sure how many times you have been on the channel, Natalie, but it has been a while. How are you, Natalie? You well?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, no worries at all. It's great to have you back on. So, Natalie, you are kicking about with the crew now. You've got, I'm just trying to get it up actually. So it's Only One United. Is that where people can find you?
Yeah, that's where people can find me. That's where if any United fans want to come and talk United on Twitter, on Facebook. Well, not Facebook, but Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, mainly. That's my channel now.
Right, brilliant, excellent. Well, listen, Natalie, for anyone that doesn't know, Natalie has been on the channel several times before. So we are here to talk about West Ham, Manchester United in the FA Cup. However, before we get started on that, let's talk about essentially the man that's at the helm now for Manchester United, Ten Hag. Transforming season for you, giving him a bit of time. What a change.
Yeah. What a guy. I always knew it would come true. And I mean, God, we're talking about me being on this channel. We're talking about Ollie, and I was backing him, and, we had Lingard, and, should we sell him? And I just think that everyone that has gone before Ten Hag, not just sort of him, but I think, I don't like praising like uppers, but, I think John Murtaugh's done a good job. I think Richard Arnott's sort of changed the sort of structure, but Ten Hag, I think he is just a guy. He just doesn't take any bullshit, really. Bullshit, sorry if I'm not allowed to say that, but,
No, you
doesn't
are. You
take
certainly are.
any crap. And, he came in and we were struggling at the start, and, we played Brentford. We got battered by them,
Yeah,
well
you
and
did.
truly battered.
Yeah.
But, he's seen what he's done with Ronaldo when he brought in Casemiro. This is my way. I run this club. I am a manager. And I just think he is Man United. That is what we've been crying out for years. For just someone just to say, this is how it's done. I want this kind of player. I'm going to get him. And you
What I was
saw
going to say though is he the sort of forward thinking manager that you hear so many clubs now. I mean, in theory, a lot of West Ham fans call our current manager, your former manager David Moyes, the dinosaur manager. However, he's given us really fun times over the last couple of years. Not so much this year. Hopefully, our fortunes are starting to change more recently. But is Ten Hag the kind of modern manager that you have been crying out for such a long time?
Yeah, 100%. But I think he's got that throwback feel, though. I feel like modern managers, yeah, we need them. His style of play is definitely modern, but he's got that throwback feel where he's sort of like, I'm in charge. You're not in charge. And I think that's what's happened at Man United. The players have felt that they're in charge, whereas this guy actually is in charge. It's my way or the highway. I think we saw, in January, Rashford, he was on form. He was the only guy really scoring, and he took him out of the team. And this is the kind of thing, Casemiro, Rashford, this is the kind of thing. It's you're late for training, boom, you're out the team. And that's what I think we've missed in this team, discipline. You don't run the ship. The manager does, and you've got to abide by rules. And if you can't, there's the door. And that was what happened with Ronaldo. There's the door. Thank you. I love Ronaldo. He's been my favorite player. But if you can't hack it, Aye, and but he's done it in a respectful way. It's not like, say, Jose, where we've seen, he fell out of all this, and what he's done to Luke Shaw. Look at Luke Shaw now. He's giving people a chance.
Well, I was just going to say, actually, you bring up a valid point there because there's one player I want to talk about. A few players, not just Luke Shaw, but even Martial. Last season, he was a forgotten man. He was away at Sevilla on loan, and you would have thought that was a downward spiral. Never had a chance really at Manchester United again. Luke Shaw, like you said, and many other players. But it's not just about him going out and signing players in the transfer market. He's utilising the squad and seeing the players that he's got and seeing what they're available to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, Martial, he's one that I think I'm fed up with him. I know it sounds a bit hard, but he has done great things against West Ham. But I am fed up with him. I want him to do well, and I wanted this to be the season because he did start quite well, and coming in and out, and pre-season he was the guy that we sort of had to rely on. And when he has come on, he has done well for Ten Hag, but he's never there. He's never fit. He's never available. Whether that's him or the club I don't know. But even I know it's sort of going to go on to like different players, but Sancho is one that went away for a while. Started really well, went away for a while. Whether that's mental health, I don't know. But listen, that. Like maybe under, like you said, the dinosaur managers, they would say there's no such thing as mental health, no such thing as that. Why are you upset? These kind of things. But we know in this, like you say, modern day, for me, it's right because, there's always been such thing as mental health. People are always going to be affected by things. So I don't know if this is the reason though, and I don't want to start speculating, but, he's been able to go away, Sancho, recover, do, build back up to that player that he is. And now we're seeing him coming on bench and affecting games and changing it and playing the way that he wants to play. And like you say, that's it. He's just managing people and, like you say, getting the best out of the people that he's got. But I do still think there are people like, unfortunately, Martial. I mean, I know this guy is fantastic.
And I want to talk to you about this guy because obviously we've got his best pal in our team in the midfield. The two starting central midfielders for Brazil play for your team and our team, and we're starting to now see the best of what Paqueta can do. But Casemiro, who comes with a long history of success, and I think initially when you signed him, a lot of people kind of slated the signing because of his age and the stage of the career he's at. But he's come into the league and actually proven so many people wrong and continued in the form that he left for Real Madrid. He's a phenomenal player, isn't he?
Yeah, you don't win that many Champions Leagues if you're a bad player. And I think there was a lot of people saying, oh, well, if Real Madrid are letting him go, obviously Real Madrid are letting him go. They're not top of the Liga, but, look how they just blew away Liverpool. Real Madrid are a great side, They're in a different stage probably than what we're at. I know they had Camavinga, that's the kind of thing, that's what they want to do. They want to bring through the young players and, obviously Casemiro thought, I want to be still the main guy and Real maybe he wasn't. So, it was a shrewd signing. I can't believe we got him. I was excited when we got him. I know people were upset, United fans, like, why are we not playing him straight away? But again, that's the manager. I'll do it on my terms. I'll do it when I'm ready. And I mean, we've missed him. He got suspended at the Palace game and we've really, really missed him when he hasn't played. I know he's still played in Europe and that, but, I'm so glad that he was back, got his goal. This is the kind of thing, this guy is inspirational. And I was at a few games and just seeing the way he just, how a game can change when he's not playing versus playing. It's just madness. And I think Ten Hag's made him better as a player.
Made him better as a player, yeah, absolutely. Let me get on to, the situation, which is, you're in 4 competitions. You've won 1, the League Cup. How important is that for Manchester United as a whole? Maybe a competition for maybe in the last couple of decades that you've not necessarily been out there to absolutely go and win it. But if you win it, you win it. But this one felt important as an outsider looking in.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about earlier on, didn't you, about the last time being at like Europa League, and I was at that one, and unfortunately didn't get Wembley, but it's been that long, it's been that long. We've had a COVID, we've had all this kind of things have changed, and it's been that long. And like you said, it's not a trophy that oh my God, remember that year when we won the League Cup? For us, as Man United, as the trophies that we've won, of course it isn't, but it's important in that it's the first one. And like you say, we're in 4, and, I don't think we'll win, but it's going to give you that momentum to maybe go into the others. And I think, I can see us winning another 1, maybe 2. Who knows? The final one, I think, will be the hardest. I think everyone knows which one I'm on about. But
the FA Cup, because obviously West Ham are going to beat you in the FA Cup,
yeah,
aren't they? So
that one.
you're talking about the
Yeah,
you're going to win the Premier League and the Europa League, but not the FA Cup.
Yeah. No.
But listen, when it comes to, I mean, since the last time we've spoke, I think that we've had a big chop and change in West Ham lifestyle. We've had 2 successful seasons. We made the semi-final of the Europa League last year, to many West Ham fans' surprise, but we did. And David Moyes has given us that success, but he's been under a lot of criticism this year. Natalie, how do you view West Ham now in comparison to what you've witnessed over the last couple of seasons?
I think I even came on this show and I feel like you guys were praising him, and I was like, that's not the David Moyes I know. And then I sort of said, you maybe see what I know, but then maybe this is his level, and like you said, he's bringing you up to that. And I don't know if it's maybe like he's taking you that far and now you're expecting that. I'm not saying that everyone is, but that's now the expectations to get into finals, we get into semi-finals. And, I don't know whether it's weighing hard because now you're like towards the bottom and it's not something that you'd expect of West Ham. I know you're building back up, but I don't know, like, I sort of feel like West Ham is his level, but then you could
West
get
Ham
better
is his
as
level.
well.
Natalie, West Ham is his
sorry.
level. You're going to get slated for the comments.
I know, so sorry, but
but I think the thing for us is, as West Ham fans, is that he's one of the kind of last old guard, but his history at management is, if you stick by a manager like David Moyes, 1 in every 3 seasons is an average season, but 2 seasons he can challenge for something. And we've been close enough to Champions League. Genuinely, in my lifetime, in the last 3 or 4 seasons, we've had 2 attempts at the Champions League, and we got Europa League semi-final, which in actual fact we should never got beat by Frankfurt. We should have beat them, no problem, and we probably would have gone on to beat Rangers in the final. It was just one of those games that we just didn't turn up for, and unfortunately it was at the wrong time, at the wrong place. But when it comes to the FA Cup, I mentioned it earlier on, we keep meeting you in recent years. It's ridiculous that we've had each other all the time, left, right and centre, and predominantly, just be said beforehand, we play against you predominantly at Old Trafford. It does get a little bit, you're looking for something a little bit different. You're looking for even a big, for us, we're looking at maybe a London derby, someone we've not played for a while, or a really low league team, just something just a bit different. But each year you just look at the fixture and go, oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. And it's actually evenly matched. It's not all Man United. It's not all West Ham. It's quite evenly matched. One or the other goes through. Last year, it was a crap game, but Manchester United got through in the cup competition. And again, we face each other in the 5th round. You're in 4 competitions. You have a few niggles. Do you have a few niggles in your team?
Niggles and a few coming back. Well, I think there'll be a rotation. Yeah. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, like you were just saying there, we always play each other. It is getting boring in a way, isn't it? And I think it's always at Old Trafford as well. Like what I remembered, a lot of them you've been coming up here, and it's the FA Cup is about the magic of the cup, and what you just talked about there is like the lower ranked teams and stuff. That is the magic. Even if you get, God forbid you went out to a lower ranked team, but that's what you want to see. You want to see them.
Yeah.
You want to see those draws, not just the Premier League clubs, because we watch this anyway. So and that's when the ties they pick for telly, and it's just like, oh,
I know. Here we go again. But how important, obviously you've come off the back of the League Cup win. You've got, your fixture list is equally the same as what we've got coming up over the next couple of months. We're literally playing twice a week for about 8 weeks. And I think at one point in April, it's nearly 3 times in 1 week. We've got games coming up because we're still in the round of 16 for the Europa Conference League. And how important do you think Ten Hag will take the game tonight?
I think he's going to really go for it. I think, for me, even though like there's been rotation before, and you're saying like games every week, we've been on that, we've been doing it, and I just think he's just going to carry on doing it. And I feel like the trophy is going to be that more momentum. And say like Sabitzer, who came on, he's going to want to start. And there's still that competition at right back, Dalot or Wan-Bissaka, who's going to start. It's that kind of feeling. And I feel like it's going to push us because I feel like everyone wants to play. Maguire's just coming on for little bits and bobs, but then he's starting a few games, and it's. I just feel like everyone in the squad is happy. Everyone in the squad wants, if they do get an opportunity, will have to perform, and they know what's in front of them. And it's tough because they're coming thick and fast. And if you're going to be in these competitions, this is what you got to do. But
this is what you got to do. Yeah, 100%.
Every time at home recently, I just think we're going to win. There's no doubt. That Leeds game, that's when I thought, oh God, we're 2-0 down and all this, but bang, we didn't win it.
Yeah,
but
you find it. Yeah.
We're finding a way, I know people will be like, typical United, but it's like we are back in a way, fighting till the end. And that's the bare minimum you want from your team now. That's why, if anything, I fell in love with Man United, because it was that fight till the end, that giving everything for the fans that are there.
Yeah.
And, that's what he's brought back, Ten Hag, and it's nothing magical that he's done in a way. He's just
Find the right mixture of the and I think that's a big key element, isn't it? Getting the belief through the squad and the team and the fans. Coming on to West Ham, though, we've signed 150 million, 60 million pounds worth of talent in the summer. It's the first time we've spent that amount of money on about not a lot of players, if that makes any sense. And questionably, you could argue the point that most of those players that we've signed should be first team starters, but we've been very, very unlucky with team selection because we've had a lot of injuries and a lot of concerns this season. We've not managed to gain the consistency we've had over the last 2 years. However, as of before the game at the weekend, for the first time this season, David Moyes had the luxury of having nearly a fully fit squad to choose from, which is the first time this season, and last season he had that availability. Now, a few players have picked up a couple of injuries from the weekend. Of course, Fabianski has a fractured eye socket, so he will be unavailable. However, many fans have been calling for our number 2, who should be our number 1, Areola, French goalkeeper, to go in between the sticks. So he's a quality goalkeeper to step up to the plate. We've got Paqueta, Casemiro's best pal, in the middle of the park. He is finally getting a run of games, and he is showing us what a genius, and the reason why he is one of the number 1 names on the team sheet for Brazil. You see much of him, Natalie, and what do you think about this sort of player?
Yeah, Brazilian, like you're saying, plays in the midfield with Casemiro. I sort of saw bits of West Ham, and you had a good recent result, dominating, lots of shots. I know Danny Ings getting his goal and stuff like that, and those are the kind of players for me that as well that I worry about. But Paqueta, he's coming into form, like you say, Casemiro's best pal, and obviously I saw bits at the World Cup and stuff like that. But yeah.
It's interesting, though, because this season as a West Ham fan as well, it depends on what kind of West Ham fan you are, but a lot of people have said that fine margins is what's held us back. So I don't know if you've seen the expected goals output compared to what you score. And by basing yourself on that, West Ham should have approximately 12 points more from goals and chances created. I've never, in my lifetime as a West Ham fan, seen West Ham consistently create chance after chance and not put the ball in the back of the net. And that's been down to the fact that we've lost quite a lot of our strikers and our forwards due to injuries and had to rely again, once upon a time, again on Antonio, which is something we've tried not to do, but we've had to. However, we now have Danny Ings. He's cup tied for this game in particular, but Scamacca, Italian number 9, has been in and out of the team through injury and is fighting fit. So we may expect him to get a run out against you lot at Old Trafford. But we do have an abundance of players there. Let's get into the nitty-gritty though, Natalie. The game, 5th round, FA Cup, Old Trafford, West Ham travel up on a Wednesday evening. What is your predictions for the game? And we don't care if you tell us what you really want it to be.
3-1. I do think West Ham will get a goal.
Natalie.
No, I do think you'll do well. I think we played Leeds, and like I said, I think if you come at us, you pressure us, these kind of things, maybe even played a sort of typical David Moyes way, bank it up and and go on a counter attack. I don't think you will, because like you're saying, you are creating those chances, and it's not like that anymore. But maybe going that way. I don't know. Obviously, you guys know how you're going to go at it, but I do think you'll get a goal. But I just think Man United at home, after winning the cup, it's inevitable for me that we're going to win. I know that's like
fine.
I said,
You're
people don't like
a Man
it.
United fan.
The
That's what it's going to
arrogance.
do. Yeah, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
It's where we're at. It's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for West Ham and West Ham fans, you've got a split decision on this one. You've actually got quite a few West Ham fans saying that maybe they would take the hit and quite happily get knocked out of the FA Cup. I'm going to sneeze. Bless me. And you've got the other half going, it's the FA Cup, man. Go for it. Go all out. Go guns blazing. We know David Moyes is going to put a reasonably strong team out. With a mix of squad players that you could say that have been probably the most successful players this season, because our cup competitions is where West Ham have actually been playing quite well. So it's definitely going to make for an interesting game. One of the interesting things, though, is West Ham don't concede a lot of goals. West Ham are 5th in the Premier League for conceding goals. Not conceding many goals. So, but the issue is putting the ball in the back of the net, and we did find a little bit of form against Nottingham Forest at the weekend, putting 4 past them. But Manchester United at Old Trafford is always a difficult story. I'm going to give you my prediction, and that is going to be a 1-0 West Ham win, taking us back to the Di Canio days where he puts the ball around Barthez, and it's going to be Scamacca smashing the ball past the hair from 30 yards out. Natalie, you watch this space.
No chance. Sorry.
We're going to break your duck. We're going to break it. Don't you worry. Listen, Natalie, it's been an absolute bloody pleasure to have you back on the channel. If anyone's new around here, please make sure you do subscribe to our channel. If you want to go and check out any of the content, of course, from Natalie, go and check out Only One United. She does some content out there. She's also on Twitter as well, so you can go and check her out. And yeah, go and check it out. But like I said, if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, give our channel a support. We're on the march towards 20,000 subscribers. Hit the thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Give us your predictions as well while you're watching. And as per usual, without further ado, join us later on for the Matchday Live. Take it easy, everyone, and come on, you